Hey YouTube, Common Collector here, and today I am super excited to be bringing you guys my Blue Eyes GOAT format deck profile. This is going to be a really cool variant of Blue Eyes, which is going to be similar to what you guys can find on goatformat.com. I'll put a picture of that up on the screen right here, but I am going to be playing a couple different cards, so if you guys want to like take a screenshot of that or like find the link for goatformat.com, I'll leave that in the description as well. But I sort of like made my own turbo variant. You guys are going to see some similar cards to my Chaos Turbo build. So this is like Blue Eyes, Turbo, Chaos, whatever you guys want to call this. But it utilizes King Dragoon to be able to special summon Blue Eyes directly from the hand, and then also give it the added protection that Blue Eyes does not have. That way, like, your boss monster actually sort of functions like a boss monster because he's being protected by the rest of the stuff on the field. So this one's very exciting. I do also have, we're going to be basically doing like a tandem deck profile where I'm going to be showing you guys some other cards that you guys can be playing to basically swap this around to be playing like a more school bus Yu-Gi-Oh style build. This not like this deck is very complicated to run, but if you guys don't have some of these cards and you guys want to run more of like a generic, again, like school bus Yu-Gi-Oh build, that is also, we're going to go over that at the end of the video here. So we're going to be going in with 3 copies of Blue Eyes White Dragon. Obviously, he's our boss monster of the deck. We want to do everything we can do to special summon him and then protect him when he's on the field, which is sort of the goal of the deck. Then we're going to be getting on into 3 copies of Fusilier Dragon, the dual mode beast. It's kind of funny. In this deck, we actually play like 2 or 3 other dragons that aren't actually dragons, they're machines. This and Gatling Dragon, I think. Oh, and then Thunder Dragons. Yeah, so we got 3. But we are playing 3 copies of this card. The reason why is because if we Metamorphosis, we are able to go into King Dragoon directly into him and then special summon Blue Eyes from our hand. So basically, if you have the 3-card combo of Blue Eyes, Fusilier, and Metamorphosis, you've got Blue Eyes on the field. I know that generally 3-card combos aren't really the best, but we are playing 3 of each of them, and there are tons of different ways that you can still get Blue Eyes onto the field. So this is not like a one-trick pony kind of deck. It's just like one of the better options that you can do. Then we're going to be going on into 3 copies of Thunder Dragon. The reason why we want to play this card is, again, just to turbo through the deck, try to find Blue Eyes as quickly as possible. And then this is a card that I kind of added at last minute, which is Chaos Sork. Because we are playing Metamorphosis at 3, it just makes sense if you've got Chaos Sork and BLS, and we're playing all of these lights and darks. So far, every card you've seen so far is a light or a dark. We definitely want to play BLS, which you guys are going to see in that original list, but also Chaos Sork definitely is a good inclusion in here because it opens up your level 6 fusion pool. Which, like, if you can't get into, like, Fusilier Dragon to go into King Dragoon, then at least with Chaos Sork, you can then go into, like, oh boy, what, like Ryukoshi or whatever, the level 6. So like there's just some cool options here. Then another card that we can summon off of the King Dragoon is Mirage Dragon. 3 copies of this is just really insane for the deck. The other build that I'm going to be showing you guys doesn't actually really utilize Mirage Dragon like in a way that it matters that it's a dragon, but in this build it actually matters because like if you get this in the hand and you have King Dragoon, then boom, like it actually matters that it's a dragon, and then it's going to add like another layer of protection because then your guys can't get destroyed by like Mirror Force and stuff in the battle phase. Then we were going on into 2 copies of Kaiba-Man. If you don't get into the Fusilier combo, Kaiba-Man is your next best thing. This card is searchable by Rhoda, so we just need to play 2 copies. I did not want to drop it to 1 copy because like if it goes to the graveyard and you can't get it back or you have to banish it, then it's just really bad. But yeah, playing it at 2 copies is like the perfect ratio. Then for like our extension on our warrior package, we were playing DD Warrior Lady, Exiled Force, and Mystic Swordsman level 2. I really like the idea of playing Mystic Swordsman because that enabled me to actually put in more space. I took out the Nobleman of Crossouts and then just put this in. This is, again, searchable by Rhoda, so it's like we have 3 copies of this already. So instead of playing 2 Nobleman of Crossout, This card is going to eat up like our normal summon usually, but it enables us to destroy stuff that our opponent controls face down. And so again, instead of playing 3 Noble Man of Cross out, we're just playing, or 2 Noble Man of Cross out. It's basically like we're playing 3 copies of this, which is really cool. And then you can always like get it back from the graveyard with stuff. We have like a lot of graveyard synergy as well, which we'll get into. 1 copy of Breaker the Magical Warrior. It is still just a generic dark, so it's really cool. These here, we do have a couple earths in the deck, but you just kind of got to play them. Then we're playing 1 copy of Sangan, and then also 1 copy of Sinister Serpent. This is kind of like a big deviation from the list that you guys can find, again, on goatformat.com. But the fact that this card is a level 1, it opens up, again, like I said with the Chaos Orc, this opens up your level 6 fusion pool, and then this is going to allow you to be able to summon Thousand Eyes Restrict, and then like maybe slow the game down, get a little bit of control stuff going on. So just really, really cool. Definitely a good idea to play this card. And then because we're playing this card for the level 1 stuff, and because we're playing the Thunder Dragons, that enables us to be able to play some like more discardy cards, more draw spells, stuff like that. So we're going to get into that here pretty quickly. We are playing the 3 copies of Metamorphosis. Like I said, this card basically can like basically has targets for everything in the main deck except for the Mystic Swordsman level 2. Fun fact, there's only currently in the game there's only 3 level 2 fusions in the game, so that's pretty crazy. We are playing our 2 copies of Reinforcement of the Army. You have 4 targets to search off of this, so that's really, really good. Then we are playing our 2 copies of Upstart Goblin just to be able to turbo through the deck even more. Like I said, this is like Blue Eyes Chaos Turbo, and I wanted to stick with that theme. So we are even playing Card Destruction. This is a card that you probably want to side out if you're going up against like a big Chaos deck, because their graveyard setup might be a little bit better than yours. But we are playing a very good heavy graveyard setup deck, so you are still getting good advantage off of this. It just really stinks when you have like the Fusilier combo, or especially if you have like Kaiba Man in hand and you just have not seen Blue Eyes White Dragon yet. So the big thing is Card Destruction is in here just because it's like, okay, you have 3 copies of Blue Eyes, but there's just no searchable way to find it. And if this is a Blue Eyes deck, we need to see it as soon as possible. So this deck is very, very aggressive on the draw stuff. So let's get on into the Trinity. We have Pot of Greed, Graceful Charity, and that Delinquent Duo. If you guys can't afford Delinquent Duo, you guys can just like swap this out for like Mystical Space Typhoon. We're not playing that in the main deck, so just swap that out and you guys are going to be just fine. We are playing Heavy Storm and Giant Trunade, however, along with our Breaker the Magical Warrior, and then the fact that we can stop traps in the battle phase. I thought that this was enough. So I took out MST so I could fit in Card Destruction. So that's sort of like what I went with there. Card Destruction is going to enable you to find these cards faster, so why not? Giant Trunade, we haven't seen the cards that this really enables yet, but this card just being able to bounce stuff and maybe go for that final push, because with your King Dragoon and Blue Eyes, you're going to be doing 5,400 damage. And then like if you have like a Chaos monster, you can probably like swing for game. But yeah, Giant Trunade being able to bounce stuff to hand works really well with our Premature Burial, because we can like bring a Blue Eyes back and then bounce it to hand with Giant Trunade, and then Premature Burial, and then bring another thing back from the grave, so that's really cool. And then later we are going to be playing Call of the Haunted, so you guys are going to see a little bit more of what Giant Trunade does. 1 copy of Snatch Steal, 1 copy of Mirror Force, 1 Ring of Destruction, and then lastly, that Call of the Haunted. Like I said, this card is really crazy because we have ways that we can like tribute guys. So let's say that we bring Kaiba Man from grave, we tribute him to be able to bring Blue Eyes from hand. That does not count as it being destroyed, so what this card says is when that target is destroyed, destroy this card. So Kaiba Man doesn't get destroyed. Exiled Force tributes itself for cost, does not get destroyed. You tribute basically with Metamorphosis for like Fusilier Dragon and stuff. So if you bring any of those like key cards, and like those are targets that you're going to be bringing back from grave, like you can bring Exiled Force back with Call of the Haunted, pop like 2 of your opponent's cards basically, and then Call of the Haunted is just going to stick on the field, and then when you draw that giant Trunade, you just get it back to hand, and you can get extra advantage. So that was the reason of playing at least one giant Trunade. So that is going to do it for the main deck here. Let's get on into the extra deck. So for the main boss monster, I wanted to play 3 King Dragoon. If you guys only have like one of this, you guys can totally just play 1. If you have 2, you can play 2. But I wanted to play 3 in case I go into the first one. And then if like a situation arises later where like he gets destroyed, but I can eventually go into 2 more, and like they can like kind of protect each other in a way, like, you know, like you get 1 on the field, but then 1 gets destroyed, then you still have the second on the field. There's instances where 3 could come up. It's going to be pretty few and far between, but I wanted the option. Then just kind of going up the ladder from the generic stuff, we have our 2 Thousand Eyes Restrict. I wanted to play at least 2 because, again, we can get Sinister Serpent back to hand super easily, and we're playing 3 Metamorphosis, so it's feasible that this could come up at least twice. You could play a 3rd copy, but I just wanted extra options. We're playing 1 copy of Flame Ghost in case we want to really get like Sangan into graveyard, or if we need to get a light into graveyard with our level 3 Kaiba Man, stuff like that. Darkfire Dragon, he's probably going to come up the least just because like his attack isn't really relevant, and but still, sometimes you just need to get a certain attribute into the graveyard. For our 5s, we have Fiend Skull Dragon and Dark Balter. These are just the best options, so I kept with those. Didn't really feel like I needed to play Reaper or anything like that. We're playing for the 6s, we have Ojama King, just basically because he's a light. We have the Dark Blade, and we have Ryu Senshi, also a card that mentions dragon in its name, but it is a warrior. Ryu Senshi here, really, really great card just for helping protect your board. Then for more of our 7s, because again, our King Dragoon is a 7, but we still have other options. So we have the Last Warrior from Another Planet. I was thinking of playing 2 copies of this as well, but I figured we really don't have that much like protection stuff. Like, we're not playing Book of Moon. Basically we have like Ring of Destruction for protection, and we have Mirror Force, so like there aren't as many options for protection. So like if we were playing Solemn Judgments and stuff in the main, we would probably play 2 copies of this, but I just wanted to play 1. It's going to be really cool when it comes up and you can control the board state, but sometimes just going for that OTK push is kind of what this deck is trying to do. We're playing 1 copy of King Joan because, again, we can go into 7s really easily. This is a light, and it does just have like a monstrous level of attack at 2800, which is really great. So that's why we had to play 1 copy of her. And then we are playing the 1 copy of Gatling Dragon just to use with our BLS. And we also have Blue Eyes White Dragon. So the fact that this is an 8 and we have 4 8s in the deck, this card is actually going to be coming up way more than like what you play in like Chaos variants. So lastly, like I said, I wanted to show you guys how you guys can sort of change up the deck. It's not like you're going to be like siding and like smoke screening into this, but if you want to just play a different build that sort of just plays more generic stuff and like less like turbo like chaos version, these are all of the cards that I just showed you guys that you guys will swap out. And so let's see here, we got our 3 Metamorphosis. You obviously don't need these if you're not playing the Fusilier Dragon, the Upstart Goblins, Card Destruction, and Delinquent Duo. If you guys like don't want to like play some of these more high-end or like rarer cards and whatnot. And then what you guys are going to be putting in is 3 Gravekeeper Spy, just so you still have like some darks and just can like turbo through the deck and like thin it a little more. Shining Angel, the reason why I didn't play this is just because that relies on your opponent attacking you more. 1 extra Kaiba Man, since we're not playing the King Dragoon. Cyberjar, just to like turbo through stuff. I didn't want to play Cyberjar in this build because like the Cyberjar capabilities in the turbo deck just aren't really quite as good. The 2 Book of Moon, 2 Nobleman of Crossout to replace that Mystic Swordsman level 2, Mystical Space Typhoon, just because we're not turboing through the deck quite as much. And then Compulsory Evacuation Device and Torrential Tribute. Compulse is really nice actually because you can just like bounce Blue Eyes and stuff right back up to the hand and then summon it again if you get another Kaiba Man. And then also obviously since you're not playing the Metamorphosis, you guys can just toss the entire extra deck out the window. So again, whichever version of the build you guys want to play. Otherwise, the rest of the cards, this is 16 cards that flip-flops. The other 24 cards then would be exactly the same. These are just the cards that you guys would swap around if you guys want to go with a more school bus Yu-Gi-Oh! Generic style, or if you guys want to go for the more aggressive, slightly better turbo variant. But thank you guys again so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please subscribe to the channel if you guys want more goat format, Blue Eyes content, all that kind of stuff. Definitely check out the Patreon if you guys are interested in supporting the channel. And I thank you guys again for checking out the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. We'll catch you for the next one. Peace.